Okay, fellas, great win against Lazio. Unfortunately, the other result didn't quite go the way that we wanted, but we can still get out of this group. We could still finish top. We could stay bottom. So we've got 2 games left. Big couple of weeks, boys, and let's see where we end up. Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 66 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up in today's episode we have the last 2 games from our Europa League group stage. We are taking on Atletico Madrid in Madrid, followed by Midtjylland at home, and we'll see where we do end up off the back of that in this death race, in this group of death that we do find ourselves in the Europa League for 2026. So if you are looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But we have done nothing since the end of yesterday's episode. If you missed that one, it was the end of season review as well as a game at home against Lazio. I'll leave a link to that above my head in the top right corner. Quite happy with the result that we picked up in yesterday's episode, a 2-0 win. Unfortunately, it was spoiled somewhat by the fact that Midtjylland have now picked up 4 points against Atletico Madrid, which was highly unexpected, backing up their draw at home with a win in Madrid thanks to early first half goals, and that has really condensed this group up quite nicely. It does mean we could still finish in a knockout spot this season, especially if we find a way to win both games in today's episode. If we can only win one game, we might still be okay, but it's going to depend on the results and how they fall in the other games that do happen in this group. So it is all to play for in this group of death. As I said, a little bit of a death race just to make sure that we do not end up in that 4th spot and miss out on European knockout football entirely. But first up, we are taking on Atletico Madrid. We did suffer a 3-1 defeat to these guys at our home ground to start off the group stage. Got off to a very good start in that game for a Benjamin Rubio goal, but they just ran over the top of us in that second half with the quality that they do have. In Madrid, it's probably going to be tough for us, but as we saw yesterday, Midtjylland did beat these guys in Madrid, and that suggests that we are more than capable of doing something similar today. Hopefully, a quick look at these guys before we get into the first game of today's episode. Their lineup is a very strong one. You can see they've got the likes of Correa, Wijnaldum, Sal, Koke. They've got Jorginho in their team as well, the likes of Jimenez, Koulibaly, Oblak at the back. It is a very strong team. Atletico Madrid do have that, is why they are currently on top of this pretty difficult group, and we'll see what we can do against these guys shortly and see where that leaves us going into the last game of the group stages of this Europa League. And here are the team sheets for the first game of today's episode here in Madrid. Atletico Madrid on the left-hand side, a team which is a little bit different to the one that we did see before on the club info page, but is still a very strong lineup with the likes of João Felix in their lineup. In terms of us, as I mentioned in yesterday's episode, Shaun is now our starting Mazala over Swiderski, but we have made a few other changes just with players being on yellow cards. I do think the second game of today's episode is more winnable, and with that in mind, I don't want our best players being suspended for that game. So we have rested both Ian Carlo and Gabriel Corbo on yellow cards. That means Garrido and Afosu will start in place of those guys at right back and on the left-hand side at centre back respectively. But apart from that, it is still a fairly strong lineup, and we'll see what we can do here in Madrid. And very early highlight in this game, a goal kick in our favour as we do look to play out from the back. If we can strike early in this game, that would be ideal. Hopefully put a bit of pressure on Midtjylland in the other game, and Lazio, who these days are not too far above us as well. But it's a little bit sloppy from us there. We do lose possession, and Atletico Madrid look to get something going here through Llorente, slots through João Felix. Can our defence get in the way? It's a tight angle, and luckily Serafellini pulls out a decent save there. Tight angle, so should have made the save. Fortunately, he did. We'll just see if anything comes from this corner, pulling in from Shaun. It's a really good save there from Serafellini. So 2 good early chances there for Atletico Madrid inside the first 2 minutes. We'll see if something comes from the opposite side from this corner. It's a header yet again, but this time straight at Serafellini. So a few good early chances there for Atletico Madrid, but it does remain 0-0 after 5 minutes. 25 minutes gone, and we do have a free kick here. Nothing happening since that early flurry of highlights for Atletico Madrid, and unfortunately, that free kick had far too much on it. And an update there, bottom left corner, Midtjylland are 1-0 up over Lazio, and that could make things very interesting going into the second game of today's episode. Great chance there for Llorente, but yet again, a good save there from Serafellini. That's really messy at the back from our centre-backs today in Afosu and Mbiyamba. The corner, we do just deal with that through Arnason. So get away with one there. Still 0-0 here at the half-hour mark. And a few minutes before half-time, Atletico Madrid in possession yet again, absolutely dominating this game so far. We are yet to really fire a shot. We have had one shot, but it wasn't on target, although that ball is straight at Leandro Diaz over for Rubio on a yellow card. Tries to chip the goalkeeper just a little bit too much on that one. That would have been a really good goal considering the way that this first half has been going. We have been a fair way below our best, but we do go into the sheds at 0-0, and the way this game has been going, that's not a bad result. We'll give the boys a little bit of a rev up here at halftime just to try and get a little bit of improvement out of them. But at the moment, 0-0 here in Madrid might be a result which still keeps us in the hunt to make our way out of this group. 46 minutes gone, early throw-in in the second half here for Atletico Madrid. Jorginho in for João Felix, puts in for Llorente, some good short passing inside the box. Nandez there with a shot, it's blocked, falls to Medina, and we do eventually clear it, albeit out to Kaiki, and they are on the attack again here. Atletico, and Shaun on that left-hand side, back in for Vivian, Marino, Felix, Llorente tries curve it, top right corner. It's a wonderful strike from Marcos Llorente, and they finally have their goal in this game. In the way that the highlights have been going, it is hard to argue they do not deserve a lead in this game. We've been clinging on for the first half, and early in the second half, they eventually break us down. I thought we nearly closed that down there, but really nice strike from Llorente to put that in the top right corner, and we will make a change off the back of that goal. Patrick Nygaard, one of a few players out there struggling at the moment. He is the most obvious one on a 6.1 rating. We will bring Sekularak on for him, move Arnason to right wing, switch those two around, and see if that does anything. But early on in the second half, we are 1-0 down here in Madrid. 51 minutes gone, free kick to Madrid. Kanate there with a header, and it has come off the crossbar, and we might get something going here on the counter-attack. Cadena to Arnason, one-on-one. What can he do? Great chance, takes it round the goalkeeper, but the angle is too tight. That was a really good chance to get this back to 1-1, but still one goal down here. And up to the hour mark, we are going to make our second substitution. Benjamin Rubio is on a 6.3 and on a yellow card. Bjorn Boggy Goodnesson will come on for him. We'll see what the Icelandic striker can do for this last half hour. Hopefully, we can get an equalising goal. And now up to the 73-minute mark, still the scoreline is 1-0. No highlights since that big chance to Arnason, but Nicolucci Caviglia is also on a yellow card, now down to a red heart. Lorenzo Gavioli coming on for him for our last substitution. We are now on a higher tempo, looking for that equalising goal in the last 17 minutes. 82 minutes gone, free kick here to Atletico Madrid. Lazio have got an equaliser in Denmark in the other game, which is of note. That could make things interesting going into the last match week. We'll have a good update of the group table before we do get into that last game against Midtjylland, but we have unfortunately given the ball away there to Madrid, albeit they give it straight back to Rascorito. Plays it back to Serafellini. Long ball forward, nearly Cadena getting on the end of that. Eventually does Goodnesson. Nice chance here for Gavioli off the bench, and he hits it just wide and high. That was another great chance. Only hit the target once in this game, but boy, have we had our chances to actually take this game out. It's still 1-1 in the other game from what I can tell as we do into the last few minutes here in Madrid. And in fact, Midtjylland grab an 89th minute goal, which sees them go 2-1 up against Lazio. That could make things very interesting in that game against them in our last group game of this Europa League. But unfortunately, we do fall to a 1-0 defeat against Madrid. As I said before, we actually created some pretty good chances in that game despite being outplayed for the most part, but in the end didn't really take them. Good shot from Marcos Llorente there early in the second half does give Atletico Madrid the win, and with Midtjylland winning the other game late with a 2-1 result, that does mean that now it is a battle between us and Lazio for that third placing in the group. They will be taking on Atletico Madrid in their game. We need to be beating Midtjylland. Otherwise, I am pretty sure we are going to be getting knocked out of Europe by finishing last in our group. But hopefully we can keep up our good record of finishing third in the group like we have done in every year so far in our European campaigns by picking up a win against Midtjylland. And we will come back shortly for that one back at the Laugardas Villa. And here are the team sheets for this last game of the Europa League. For us, it is must win, and we also need Atletico Madrid to beat Lazio just to make our job nice and easy. I think the head-to-head is shared between us and Lazio, so it would depend on goal difference if they did pick up a draw in that game, so that could get a little bit interesting. The ideal situation going into this one is that we win our game and Atletico Madrid win theirs, and that's not out of the realms of possibility, albeit Atletico Madrid are away from home for that game, so that could be easier said than done. In terms of our team for this one, we are back at full strength with Carlo and Corbo coming back into the mix after missing that last game, just to make sure that we did not pick up any suspensions for this one, which could potentially see us clinch Conference League knockout football for the start of 2027. Strong bench as well. Midtjylland looking very similar to a team that we did take on early on in the group stages. They've got New Zealand's Michael Wood as their captain in goal, and we will see if we can pick up the win that we need to try and make our way into the Conference League knockouts. 10 minutes gone, we have our first highlight of this game, and it is in our favour, just playing inside the opposition half, and we do get the ball to Porstein. Arnason plays that back for Leandro Diaz, back to Galtason and back to Corbo, back in the team after sitting out that previous game against Atletico Madrid. We try and get something going forward here. Rubio, good ball for Caviglia, comes off the upright. He had beaten Michael Wood, but that's the sort of slice of luck we need to be going in our favour in situations like this one. Still 0-0 after 15 minutes, but encouraging signs.
Yeah.
And 27 minutes gone, we have had to bust out the Mark Richardson. Benjamin Rubio is off with an injury. Yao Pedro on the bench as our backup striker this time. He will come on just shy of the half-hour mark. And approaching half-time in this game, Midtjylland are getting a little bit going late in this half, but we're coming back a little bit early before half-time because Atletico Madrid have picked up a 1-0 lead away from home thanks to a Yao Felix goal. So they are doing exactly what we need from them. But so far, we haven't been able to break down Midtjylland in this one so far, but pretty encouraged by the way that we are playing. We'll make no changes, having had to take Rubio off there before half-time. Hopefully, we can grab that goal that we need in the second half. And just past the hour mark, we are going to make some substitutions here. We've got two players out there on 6.4 ratings, so we'll try and change that to see if anything good comes from it. Roselli coming on for Diaz, and yet again, we will bring on Sakulrak for Nygaard and switch Arnason out to the right wing. That's all our subs used. Still needing a goal with a half hour left. 66 minutes gone, and finally we have another highlight in this game. A throw inside the opposition half. We play that back to Corbo, and it finds its way to Galtason on a yellow card. Pedro for Cadena, tight angle, takes on the shot, but it comes off the upright. That's two shots now off the woodwork. Still 0-0 with 20 minutes left. Still need a goal to make our way through to those Conference League knockouts. 85 minutes gone, it is still 0-0 here. Unfortunately, we have gone to a higher tempo, more direct attacking. We now have a highlight, I believe. It is still 1-0 to Atletico Madrid in Italy, so we do need a win here. That will see us make our way into the Conference League knockouts, and this might be our last chance. Roselli far post, Arnason, oh, it goes through the hands of Michael Wood. Oh, what a absolute New Zealand legend. That is much more like his real life self. As I said last time we played those guys, he seemed far too good in this game. We will slow things right down off the back of that goal, because that is exactly what we need to jump above Lazio in this group, provided that Atletico Madrid do hold on late to that 1-0 win. But finally, we beat Michael Wood. It's a far post ball to Arnason, and it looks like it goes straight through the hands of the New Zealand goalkeeper, the Midtjylland captain, and we might have just found a way to get up to third. Indeed we have, and now we wait to see if we can get one other goal, or if Lazio do suffer defeat there at home. No update so far. We've only got one more minute here of added time. We're just keeping a big eye down there on the bottom left corner. And I think we might have pulled off a bit of an escape yet again. We might be finishing third in our group. Not what we were expecting, beating Lazio into that third position, but a late goal there to Porstein Arnason does see us pick up a 1-0 win. You look at the stats there, hard to argue that we didn't deserve something out of that game, and we will make our way through to the post-match, get through this post-match interview, and just wait and see what has happened in the group. Just be absolutely sure that we did finish third. Benjamin Rubio, sprained ankle ligaments. He is out for 2 to 4 weeks. He shouldn't miss any football because of that, though, considering we have a 2-month break now in between now and our next game, and it will be a Conference League knockout game, which we do come back for at the start of next year, because Lazio did indeed suffer defeat there against Atletico Madrid. So what that means for this group of death, Atletico Madrid pretty comfortably in the end, finishing first. It is Midtjylland who finished second, and we will go into the Conference League first round knockouts, beating Lazio into that third position. Not what we were expecting. You would expect it would have been a top two there of Atletico and Lazio, but we will take that yet again, finishing third in our group, and that does mean that we will come back fairly shortly for the Conference League knockout draw to see who we will be playing in tomorrow's episode. And we are back after making our way into third, and right before the start of this Conference League knockout draw. Before we do get into that, we're going to have a quick little look through the finishing positions of the groups of all the European competitions. This is what the Champions League ended up looking like. There are the top 4 groups. We'll get through this fairly quickly, as none of this does impact us, seeing as we are dropping down to the Conference League. But we'll just make our way down, see if there's any overly surprising results. Doesn't really look like it. That is the finishing positions for the Champions League group stage. We'll go back down now to the Europa League. There you can see up top, finishing third. We would have actually had the goal differential exactly even with Lazio if they picked up a draw in that game against Atletico, and with us sharing the head-to-head with 2-0 wins each side, that would have been very interesting to see who did indeed finish third. So thank you very much to Atletico Madrid, finally in the group stages after they did us absolutely no favours, dropping 4 points to Midtjylland, but we do finish third. The other teams that we're keeping an eye out for in these groups are the teams that did finish third. They are the other teams making their way down to the Conference League alongside us. That is Malfeheva, Fenerbahce, Kukaliki Stankom. We have Braga, that's a decent team making their way down. Brøndby of Denmark. We've got Anderlecht of Belgium and Dynamo Moscow of Russia. Those are the other teams who are dropping down to the Conference League like ourselves. And now we will have a quick look at what the Conference League looks like. And we are keeping an eye out here for the teams that did qualify second, because those are the teams that we can take on in this first knockout round coming up. So it could be Hertha Berlin, Sarajevo, Slavia Prague, Astana. We keep making our way down to the bottom 4 groups: Trabzonspor, Antwerp, Vorskla, or Hajduk Split. So out of all those teams, early thoughts, I really want to avoid Hertha Berlin, anyone apart from that. And I think that they are teams that we can take in this first knockout round of the Conference League. Of course, we have been in the knockouts of the Conference League before. It was 2 seasons ago, getting knocked out at exactly the same stage, finishing third in our Europa League group. And we did make our way through to the quarterfinals that year before being knocked out by Napoli. Already looks like this could be a weaker version of the Conference League. So we have a decent chance potentially of having a good run in this competition. And before we do get into that group stage draw, we'll also have a quick little look at the coefficient, because we haven't won quite as many games as we have in both qualifying and the group stages of Europe so far. And what that means for the coefficient this current year, it is only on a 2.875. It's a little bit better than the year that we are getting rid of a 2.75, but thankfully we do still have the chance to improve on that. You can see behind us both Norway and Croatia at the moment would be going ahead of us, but there's a few nations in front of us, Bulgaria and Romania, other nations that do stand out. They could be dropping below us. So at the moment, we are holding our ground this season, but hopefully we can pick up a few more coefficient points by winning a few games in the Conference League knockouts. But it is time for us to get into the draw for this first knockout round. So we will see who we do end up with. And as we ran through before, we will just make our way down. Those are all the teams in this draw. It will be interesting to see who we do get. As I said, probably just want to avoid Hertha Berlin, and I think those other teams are ones that we can take on. And so far, There is Hertha Berlin. They do draw Fenerbahce, so we have avoided the team, which we do want to avoid. Just waiting now for our name to come out of the hat, and it looks like we are still waiting at the moment. Not exactly sure what order our name would come out of in this hat, but we are making our way down to the last couple of ties, so not very many options left for us now, and indeed we are now down to the last 4 teams, so it's going to be one of these lot, and we are taking on Royal Antwerp of Belgium. That is a team who I think we should be actually capable of beating come the start of 2027 with a few Deal to Bakar games under our belt, but we have drawn Royal Antwerp in the first knockout round of the Conference League. Currently 8th in the Jupiter Pro League are that team. We make our way over to the league table. They're a fair way down in 8th as well. 9 points behind the current leaders, Standard Liège and Genk. And we have a look at the club itself. They are a 3.5-star reputation club. Having a look through their team, no names there that are too familiar. I suppose we're getting into the part of the save where there's quite a few regens who will be making up most teams' best 11s these days, but there's no one there who catches my eye. So I think this is a team that hopefully we will be capable of beating at the start of the new year. Having a quick look through their trophies, one, it has actually been quite a while by the looks of it since they last won a trophy. Their last Belgian league title came in 1957. The Crocky Cup they did win in 2024 and 2020, so they've won that a few times. I presume that is the Belgian Cup, but apart from that, they haven't tasted too much top flight success recently. We are completely the opposite, and hopefully that can be telling when we do take these guys on in that first knockout round to start off the new year 2027, where we really are starting season 7, even though technically it was the start of season 7 today because of the weird timeline with the Iceland footballing calendar. But that will do it for today's episode. We ended up making our way out of that group of death in the Europa League, beating Lazio into 3rd place to make our way into the Conference League knockouts, where we're taking on Royal Antwerp in tomorrow's episode. If you did enjoy today's one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Of course, with tomorrow being the start of the new season here in Iceland, there will also be some transfers making their way through at some stage during the episode. Those players who come into the club won't be available to play in that knockout tie against Royal Antwerp because that transfer window usually opens up a day after the first leg, which is extremely frustrating, but that's just how things happen here in Iceland. So we're going to have to be relying on pretty much exactly the same squad that we do have here at the moment, and Benjamin Rubio will be recovered from that injury by the time we do get into the first leg of this Royal Antwerp tie. With that happening mid-February, his injury was only for 11 days to 3 weeks from now, so he is going to be more than ready to step back into the first team by then. So that injury not taking place at too bad a time, all things considered. But we will be back tomorrow for those 2 legs of that first knockout round of the Conference League, and also a few transfers as well. Until then though, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.